So I just want to do a quick reading. This is from awaken.org. Remember Ourselves as a Murmuration by Zach Bush, which I thought quite relevant to this. The murmuration of birds is one of my favourite phenomena in nature, an occurrence where starlings flock together with up to hundreds and thousands at once to create complex patterns in motion. The sheer synchronicity that takes place between so many birds at once is one of nature's miracles. Scientists a little over 10 years ago explained the behaviour of these birds in order to understand the phenomena deeper, and what they found was incredible. Although the birds are in a flock of hundreds or more, they are only basing their movements and behaviour on 7 neighbouring birds around them. And perhaps this is another reminder of nature's inherent communal blueprint. As a species, there are billions of us on Earth right now, each of different lineages, stories, and places upon the planet. And though we cannot possibly stretch our reach to billions of people at once, it is the impact we have on our direct communities that creates a humanitarian murmuration for change, for stability, and for survival. Even down to our cellular biology, isolation is not the baseline. Quorum sensing the communication that occurs between bacteria through chemical signals, and the intercellular dialogue is what improves the metabolic function of bacteria, a sharing of resources to ensure all systems are cared for. And even more fascinating, we are now understanding that quorum sensing goes beyond cell communication, but even into plant immune responses, ant and honeybee nesting behaviour, and schools of fish. The fabric of nature carries transformational answers for humanity, as we have never been separate from our own creation story. No matter how far we may have drifted, but breaking down the walls between ourselves, Mother Earth, and one another, we have been operating from a behaviour function that is foreign to our genetic makeup. Every man for himself, disjointed communities, and convenience over truly living as co-creators of nature. Yet nature is encouraging us each day to remember ourselves as a murmuration, to exist as our blueprint intended together. So it's just a reminder that we only need 1 or 2 people which we all start to follow. And we individually may choose that person, that community, and therein lies our freedom to choose. But the world stage can be led by one dominant voice. Our communities can be led by one particular dominant voice, which can be good for change, or it can be a voice to lead us into further depths of a downward spiral into something that we really don't want. It all depends what state we are in, and where we're coming from, and who do we want to be influenced by. But it's interesting, when you think of nature and like all them birds. You might have observed them in the sky. They fly in very quick succession after each other. You think, how do they not crash into each other and it all comes tumbling down? But it's all in unison. And as it says here, they might be following just a few key members of their community, and 7 birds maybe which direct which way they go and fly. And I often wonder what that meaning is. They fly in different directions, and it must be for a reason. I don't know enough about birds, so I can't really say. But it's always great to see it in the sky. And if he was to look maybe at a larger picture, or a little bit removed from humanity, we could look at ourselves and think, wow, that is such a pattern that we're creating. Where is it leading? And what is it going to be ultimately, experience at the end of the day? And we all sort of wonder, what is that? Where are we going? And if we could get to the end of time, we might look back and know them questions. But when you're in the midst of it, it all seems a bit of a mystery. But while we ponder that, we'll go into another hymn. So this is in the Purple Books, number 30, Each Seeking Faith. So it all comes down to the battle of the mind. We live in a world where the most valuable territory isn't land, oil, or gold. It's the mind. Whoever shapes the mind shapes the future. Whoever captures thoughts influences behavior. In today's viral world where TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram reign supreme, the battlefield is your screen, and the weapon is rhetoric. There is an undeniable rise of online influencers who preach confidence, dominance, and success, often cloaked in a message that appeals to the insecurities of the vulnerable. One such figure is Andrew Tate, a man whose message, for some, is slick, sharp, and seductive, especially to young men searching for identity, value, and meaning, albeit in a negative sense. We singularly might be introverted, we might be scared of the world, but when we come together, we start to build confidence. When somebody brings a message, we get behind it sometimes. What Andrew Tate does is he doesn't hide what he does, and that's the real bizarre element about this. He exploits women, he exploits people, and yet that appeals to some people. Some people follow him, and that's how he makes his money. He's earned millions, and he's on charges of tax avoidance. Even though he earns millions, he still wants to gain more. There's many cars, many houses, many material things. But lots of material things don't necessarily make us happy. But for some people, we get drawn into that. So let's be clear, what we're talking about here is not just about one man. It's about a spirit of manipulation, pride and power that hides behind charisma and influence. And somebody comes to us and is full of charisma, we get drawn in. It's so easy. And especially if we had, as a young mind, and we're looking through our phones, our computers, it might be funny. It might be, you see somebody who's successful. Quite often people want that. I want to be successful. I want to have money. And maybe this is the route that this man is showing us. Because we find it hard to think for ourselves and we can't think of any other way of achieving that goal. It's sad, but this is what happens. So I have a few points I want to share. Point 1, the seduction of the soundbite. So Andrew Tate, like many others, uses short, viral clips filled with bold statements. They are rarely balanced, but they are obviously effective. Why? Well, because they offer certainty in a world full of doubt. They offer power to those who feel powerless. They offer identity to the insecure. Again, as I say, no matter what is delivered to us, if there is other people who's following that, we want to be part of that crowd, want to be part of that, the in crowd that seems to be desired and revered for whatever reason. But certainty without humility becomes arrogance. Power without compassion becomes tyranny. And identity without faith becomes vanity. We all want to have our own identity. It's funny how we will follow a big group just to have that. We all have our personal ways of identifying ourselves, to be ourselves. But to find that, sometimes we are part of the group. Like being here, we are part of the group. But this we see as positive, because what we send out into the world becomes positive. So that's the seduction of the soundbite. We're easily taken in. A minute and a half, 2 minute video is quick and easy to look at and to view, and we get sucked in easily. I think we call it doom scrolling these days. We can easily sit on our phones, or the younger generation, if you might have noticed, might sit on their phones and they go from one video to another video. Some of it is funny, some of it is delivering a message, some of it is not so great. And it just follows I've looked at it and think, it doesn't seem to follow a pattern. There obviously is a pattern, but things that I'm not interested in turn up, and I think, what is that? And then, but something grabs your attention, and it's only short, so you stop and you look at it and you think, what was that all about? But by that time, you've already seen it. It's added to their views, and then there's a pattern. Then so it'll then come up again because you've looked at that once. It's an algorithm which feeds on your curiosity. So if you keep looking at them type of things, that's what will keep coming up. But you can program that. You can feed it by looking at, you search for positive things or the things that you're interested in, and then then that algorithm then works on that and starts showing you these things. So it's something to be aware of. It's something maybe we should teach our younger generation. So quite often we think they can teach us a thing or two, but there's old values which we have grown up with, which are relevant for today, for anybody, I would say. Point 2, control through fear and ego. What we're seeing is not merely influence, it's control. A rhetoric that feeds ego and silences empathy. It's based on hypermasculinity that devalues emotional intelligence, wealth worship that ignores character, us versus them mentalities that destroys communities. This control works because it manipulates through fear of being weak, irrelevant, or rejected. It whispers lies like, if you're not dominating, you're losing. If you're kind, you're soft. If you're not rich, you're worthless. Many people have these type of ideas and views, and growing up, I can say I probably had a mix of these type of things until I make up my own mind of what I want to see and how I want to be. But we're all searching, and from being young, we have these doubts, these fears, and it's fear that drives us predominantly in a lot of situations to do things that we might not prefer to do or might not want to do, but we're just following the crowd. We want identity, and fear leads us into all different areas, as opposed to love, which can lead us into nice situations. I'll come more to that in a bit. So point 3, a renewed mind resists control. So how do we resist the rhetoric of control? By teaching discernment. Young minds must learn to question, is that true? Is it loving? Does it benefit the whole? Simple questions, but do we stop to ask these of ourselves? Some of us do. Some of it it's inbred, it's inbuilt, it's values that we grew up with. But not everybody grows up with them values. By building identity in a loving community. Not in followers, fame or fortune, but in being joyful and wonderfully made. By modelling better examples. Mentors, fathers, mothers, teachers and faith leaders must rise to offer something deeper than the internet noise that we so often come across. The internet being a big influence in a lot of people's lives, but so are our family, our friends, our connections, and so by being a positive influence, we can help shape and determine, the outcome of how we interact with the world. Point 4, we can make a difference. We must not be passive. It's not enough to shake our heads at the screen and scroll past. We must speak truth in love. Engage culture and not trying to escape it. Raise a generation that sees through manipulation. We are called to make a difference, not make noise. That means real relationships, conversations, and lives modelled not after clickbait celebrities, not after any one man, but after the idea of harmony, finding success out of joy, and finding joy out of seeing each other thrive in this beautiful world that we live in. If we, who have these positive ideas, don't teach this generation, then someone else will, and this may be open to indifference. Yeah, it's easy to see a celebrity and want to be like them. There's too much of that, and we've seen what happens. People seeing slim, thin celebrities then want to be like that, and then they have health issues when they don't eat anything. So you never see celebrities which, you know, big, out of shape, and you know, they're usually slim and good looking and successful and rich, and everybody wants to be like them. So when you're a young person growing up, it's easy to want to be like that. You watch films, you want to be like your favourite character, or your favourite person who you follow in different films, your favourite model, your favourite band. You're influenced by so many things, you just want to be like these people. And sometimes that delivers our passion, and we want to be a musician, so we follow that and we play an instrument. We want to be a model, so we look at that industry and we try and get ourselves known. It does influence our choice and our paths. And if we can have an influence on somebody else to just say, wait a minute, let's just question, is it true? Is it loving? Does it benefit the whole? As we go about these things, then maybe we might have a better way of negotiating the world and making positive influence on everybody that we come across. It's not easy, because it's easy to be lazy. It's easy to just stay in our bubble and keep the world at bay. But we have this device which keeps us connected to the world, and while we keep the physical side of things, at arm's reach, we keep this, which is connected to the whole world, in our faces. And if you look, you walk down the street, people will walk with heads down, and I see people bumping into things and ignoring each other. And then I've been at parties, and everybody's looking down at the phones, and they're communicating with each other, just not physically. They're just doing it, by text or, look at this video, and then everybody bursts out laughing. It's like, okay, it's a different world we live in, and it's not a bad thing. It's a tool like anything else. It can be used positively or negatively. It's how we choose. It's our minds and how we want to engage in that way. And if we keep using this tool and being influenced by people like Andrew Tate, then our minds, it's like a poison. Our judgment becomes clouded, and we get brought down into that way of thinking. But at some point, we do have to engage with the world, and just like anybody, whether it's positive or negative, we have to engage. We can't put that off, forever. And this is where we as individuals might be able to step in and ask that simple question: how are you doing today? How was your day yesterday? What was you doing? I often ask my grandkids, so what did you learn at school yesterday? And what are you going to be learning at school today? Just simple questions, just in a way of engaging, verbally, and then sometimes physically, in a positive sense. We can lose that art of communication, or it's transformed into a different form with technology. And in 50 years' time, goodness knows what that will look like. Maybe we won't have to open our mouths anymore. It'll be all done, telepathically. Who knows? And that alone becomes scary, because if you can't control your thoughts, then like, whoa, I didn't mean that. Just scrub that last thing. Can we control our thoughts to that level, to that degree? If you could read my thoughts every second, and I could read your thoughts, what would that look like? It would be a muddle. It would be chaos in some instances. It's a lot of reason why I do a lot of meditation, to try and calm that down a little bit. Stop a lot of this chatter, mainly just to give my mind a rest. The body needs a rest, or the mind needs a rest as well, especially when I'm busy. I can do without all that background noise. But if you think about that, for instance, would you be open if you could know what somebody's thinking all the time? Would you change your way of thinking, knowing that somebody knows every thought? I think you would. It's natural for us to have desire of different kinds and have judgments and thoughts about different things. But if you knew somebody was listening in every second of every day, maybe you would turn that down a little. I don't know. It's a thought worth thinking. And then in amongst all this chatter and everything that goes on in your mind, if you allow this negative ideas that comes from the likes of the person we've been talking about, and likes of what the news delivers to us every day, then we can be taken down. We can be dragged down to a level which is hard to come back from, because you ask these questions. How is you can look at your life. Right now we've got a roof over our head, we're in a nice place, but we often then we read the news and we see something which is quite distressing, and we take that on board. What do we do with that? There's a key. What do we do with that? Do we do something about it? Or do we just let it reside there and take up space in our minds to constantly go around? And we quite often forget that, in every conversation, in every connection that we have throughout each day, we can make a difference just by small degrees. Well, we'll come a little bit more onto that in a sec, but we're going to go into another hymn just now. Again, this is in the Purple Books, number 204, When I Am Frightened.
Precious
So, a call to action. Just a few ideas here. If you're a parent, talk to your children. If you're a mentor, speak truth boldly. If you're young and confused, look to the world within before you run into the world of confusion. If you've been following voices that only glorify self, then look for the voice that glorifies the whole. These are simple actions, maybe things that we can pass on. So the internet stands as one of humanity's greatest achievements, a tool that has redefined what it means to learn, connect, and grow together. At its heart, it is a vast gateway to knowledge, breaking down the walls that once separated people from information and opportunity. With a few clicks, anyone can learn a new skill, explore ideas from across the globe, or discover solutions to challenges that once felt insurmountable. It has turned the dream of universal access to education into living reality. But the internet's power reaches far beyond knowledge. It is a bridge between people, cultures, and communities. It allows families to remain close across oceans, friendships to flourish across borders, and voices that were once unheard to find their place in the world. It has become a stage for human connection and empathy, reminding us that no matter where we live, we share the same hopes, struggles, and dreams. It has also unlocked doors to opportunities, sparking new industries, empowering small businesses, and allowing individuals to create, innovate, and thrive. From the rise of remote work to the possibilities of global collaboration, the internet has given people the freedom to shape their futures in ways never before possible, in healthcare, in business, in science, in everyday life. It continues to open pathways to progress. Above all, the internet embodies the spirit of humanity's collective potential. It shows what we can achieve when we share knowledge, connect with compassion, and work together across borders. More than a network of computers, it is a network of people, an ever-growing testament to what we can accomplish when we choose to learn, to collaborate, and to dream as one global community. So, the internet can be a very disturbing thing. It can be a very positive thing. It's how we use it. It's a tool. And it brings us together as a community. One community which I mentioned earlier today was when I went onto a trip to the Holy Isle of the Isle of Arran. And so we come together as a group of different people, mostly we didn't know each other, to then be co-joined with the community that already lived there. So there they have a group of animals, horses, goats, and sheep who are not touched by human hands. They just left to roam the island, feed themselves, and so they're not, the horses are not ridden, the goats are not milked, and the sheep are not sheared. They're just left to their own devices. So there's a bit that goes on and you know, make sure that they're healthy, but that's about the only human interaction that they have. So that was wonderful to see. And then you have the coming together, the learning, the positive things that we experience with like-minded people. And of course, at the end of that retreat, then everybody goes home and that stays with you. And you're full of positive vibrations of that you want to share with other people. And therein is a network that slowly reaches out. So yes, there is unsavory things, but there's also positive things. And sometimes it might feel like the scales are unbalanced, unweighted. But Again, it's one of these things, if you can take a step back and look at what's going on in the world, you might have a better picture. The hope and the desire is that we shift this balance to the positive. But it's up to ourselves. We make these small differences between the people that we come across, and if we continue to do that, surely that has an influence. And our youth and younger generation, or the other people which follow this negative path, all we can do is shine our light even brighter and be the positive to their negative. That is within our power. That is within our minds to, we can make that switch, make that decision to do that. And whatever happens is a bit like nature. There's negative and positive things that we perceive in nature, but we take that as granted. Our nature is also positive and negative, and we just hope that as life gives us ups and downs, that everything has its time, and that a corner can be turned and things can be changed, and we can't do any more than that. So, with that idea and with that thought, we go into our final hymn. And that is in the Purple Books, number 208, When Our Hearts is in a Holy Place. So we depart this place with a light heart, knowing that we cannot change the world by ourselves, and no one can take our power away or our own free will. This shared idea, which is supported with love in our hearts, is a shared vision of what we would like to see in the world. With that comes unity and hope for a better future. May our minds be protected from manipulation. May we see through the glitter of lies and embrace the truth of our inner light. Let the next generation be raised not to be obsessed with control, but committed to seeking harmony with all things. I'd like to swing the shower.